Hi guys and welcome to Train Sim TV. My name's Tom and in today's video we are back on the Cumbrian coast and with developer Diary 3. What has been going on with the route? Overall not a massive amount to show you in terms of new work, rather than it's more of a case of what has been swapped and changed. As you'll probably remember if you've been keeping up with this, on the end of the last video we were in the sort of state of where we were ready to do the overhauling of the existing scenery from Ascam down towards Cumbrian Furnace and obviously beyond. Since between that last video and today's video, which you now see, the overhaul process has been done between Ascam and Cumbrian Furnace. Unfortunately, nothing else has been done since then, even though it's quite a little bit in terms of changes. There's still quite a lot obviously to do before we extend the scenery to Millham. So what I'm going to do is, on this video, I'm going to do it a little bit different. I'm going to show you the changes that we have done from here to Cumbrian Furnace, and then rather than doing a drive, which we usually do, we're going to do a little bit of route building just to show you what is entailed in the actual revamp of existing scenery, just so you know what is going on. Before we do that, the reason obviously the work hasn't sort of like been as much as I would have hoped is down to working on the existing original Northern Lines route. So if you've been following the streams, you'll have seen that there's been a update in the works which extends the track from Polton-le-Fylde to Bernay, which is the old Fleetwood line, and that comes with a number of quite a few scenarios as well, that sort of feature the 1990s period through the 90s and to that 2000 period. So there's some interesting old workings and stuff on that as well, freight and passenger. We will do a video of some sort again. You'll see in our videos that have been posted as well, which sort of feature that section route, but we will be doing a proper video as that route becomes available. It's all sort of coming in line with our new website, myself and Mark, which we've come away from VP of Local Productions. We are starting ourselves up with a new website. That's work in progress at the moment. We're not going to go through the name and everything. That's going to be on a grand reveal when everything's ready to go and be made public. And we're hoping that our startup release will be the existing Northern Lines route update. So it is virtually ready. It's just a case of waiting for the website to go live that we can actually launch the update. So for anyone that's into the older period of the Northern Lines route, where all the freight and stuff, that is one for you. Again, there is videos on our channel already showing that off, so if you want to have a look, just have a little look through our video list and you will see them. So back to the Cumbrian coast. So we're looking currently towards Barrow. So we've been showing a video of our work between Barrow and obviously working up here. If I turn around the other way, you'll see that now the line side has all the line side grass has been changed to the VP grass, and extra TSA foliage and stuff in there mixed in like we usually use now. Also, other bits and pieces have been added. Actually, they haven't been added here yet. I've got some point lever. I think it's like some point mechanism I've got to put in here as well. I thought I'd put that in, but I actually haven't. Although I have added in the what do you call it? The actual cable reeling for the semaphores. So that's been placed in, but I haven't put the actual point sections in. I mean, if I fly up to, if I just fly to Barrow. Where's Barrow on here? There it is. Let's have a look. I've placed them in somewhere. I just haven't got around to placing them. But we found these on UK Train Sim and they look quite handy. Let's have a gander. There we go. So we've got these new mechanisms and things which are available from UK Train Sim. These ain't new at all. These have been around for quite some time, but they just make the point work look a little bit more interesting, sort of matching with the point motors and stuff like that. So that's one of them new bits and pieces that sort of came about on one of my streams. So if I go back to Ascam, and just see how professional this is. Let's go back into play mode in the moment when it all loads in. We'll take you through a little fly through of what's been done. The main thing is getting rid of all the existing 3D trees, which are no way needed, like miles away from the track. I'm waving my arms around like you can see me, but basically, if you look in that direction, a lot of that was it was all 3D trees. It's just not needed. So we've done this at aiding, hopefully we can boost up FPS. If I look in this direction, we're getting a good 55 FPS currently. It's like 60 now, it's poking up to 65, so as you can see, a little dip here and there, but it's like 70 odd FPS, so you can see the difference it is getting rid of all the 3D trees right in the distance that ain't needed. Keep them local to the track. Sort of do a little bit here where you have a big line of trees, so we'll start off with 3Ds, and then just turn it into 2Ds. And you get a much better rating performance, and again looking that way we're getting a good 60 FPS. 55 to 60 FPS there. It really does make a huge difference. Yeah, looking in this direction, so we've got some bits and pieces changed to the crossings. We've got some new infills there. I think these came from Trent Valley, possibly. Sort of matched up with the existing gate work we've got in here. We've got the VP bushes in as well, and the VP bushes, the VP trees, and then using the VP grass, mixing in with some DTG stuff. So like we use TSA. I've been using it with JT stuff now for a few months, and I find it as a good mix. So I use it on here as well now. Sort of working the same sort of style, mixing it in randomly. So again, I've not cut back any of the scenery, just been changing it. And also we terrain painted this section as well. That's another thing that's changed. As you can see, all this has been painted. It's got all the estuary and that. Sort of cutting back on some of this grass which we put on the side as well. So there's loads of this here, so I've like literally tried to cut it back in the amount used. It doesn't come in every field either, just odd ones, just to sort of give it a little bit. There's a little bit on the line side here to still finish. But all the actual swapping of the trees and stuff have actually taken place. It's just a case of quickly zipping through this section here. So I think we got to about here. I sort of worked around with the trees all the way down to Cumbrian Furnace and came back on the foliage and got to here. So I need to just go and join up with the other section just over there, which isn't a long job. It's just a job I haven't got around to doing because I've been so busy with everything else. There's more just foliage rather than bushes on this section of track. As you can see, there's very, very little on the bushes. The other thing is done as well is these were quite stretched out, so we've brought these back in now, so the textures are not anywhere near as stretched as they were. We're going over here, you can just see the detailing in terms of just now 2D. And it gives you can see it for a good distance as well. And again, currently here 70 FPS looking that way, 90 in that direction. Which is, it's nice to see high numbers in FPS, especially on my stuff, because usually my stuff's quite on the bad side. If you look at Northern Lines, it's quite an intense route, and the FPS is not as high as I'd like it to be, mainly because it was one of my older routes and it's just so hard to sort of bring that in. But with this one, it was quite easy to swap everything around. It was all sort of like in one place. Again, you're looking that way, you got 95 FPS, so it just shows. So we're getting towards Cumbrian Furnace now. We're still at 80 FPS, but you probably will notice when we get past it, the FPS will start dipping. Like now, it's still sitting at 70, but it will change because we're going to go into where the existing tree work and stuff is, which just, in my eyes, just isn't optimized very well. It was the Trent Valley trees, so it's dropped to 60. As you can see, it's getting. This is where we haven't worked on yet. Although actually, in a minute, it's still quite high, but it's dropping to 60 there. It's one of them. I find that it definitely looks better when we have it as well changed though. So the big thing here is there's obviously all these 3Ds that you can see. These will be going. But that, in the grand scheme of things, is what we've done so far, work-wise. Looking at the map, Cumbrian Furnace is here. So we still have to work on all this section coming up to the top here. This is Foxfield. Then we come around here, up to Green Road, which is where the existing scenery sort of cuts off just past the station. Once the revamp has been done, we have to work down this section here and around the curve to Millham. So once we eventually hit Millham with this new scenery, we'll just go a little bit. We'll probably go beyond Millham just to the curve, just so there's enough scenery that you can see both sides of the station. Then that will be the cut-off point for version 1, and we will get the scenarios then sorted and everything. Then we will end up going for a release, hopefully, at some point. I'd like to hope maybe later in the year, all going well on that. We'll have to see. I'm not going to make any promises, but it's what I like. The second version, I'm hoping then to go for Sellafield as the next version. So it's a good distance overall, sort of near enough the same sort of distance, if you will, from what we've done already in the first part. Maybe a little bit more, I'm not too sure, but that gives you a good run, and then it gives you the freight potential then of starting from Sellafield. Then obviously after that it'll just be for wherever, but there's still quite a lot, as you can see, beyond there to get to Carlisle. So, what do we do in terms of our work? The game's actually, you should be able to hear it now actually, because I've unpaused it. But what we do is basically we're going to editor mode. So the first thing is we get the line side trees swapped over. Easy enough to do if you're familiar with route building. This will probably bore some people, but we're not going to drag it on for an hour's video. We're just going to do a little bit just so you guys see what goes on. We have done this in the stream as well, and I probably will hope to get it back in the stream at some point, doing some more of this. Just when we can get it obviously fit in. So we sort of try and keep them to the same trees as what we had. So we'll go for something like this. Give you the same sort of feel. Now there was bushes in here as well, so we need to get a line of bushes in. We don't need too much of a big size of bush, so we just need to go with a medium one, drop it down a little bit as well, and then just another one back here. I think there's a small one on number 6, is it? Nope, number 5, there it is. So pop that in. Just going to move it up a little bit, and then I'll leave that one as it is because it's a normal height. So already we've got changes going on there. And I will put another one of them in there, and we're just going to sink it down. So again, we're going to get rid of these. It goes up to here, so I'm just going to make sure I get the right distance in there. So I'm going to put some bushes in, first of all, get a mix of them in. I'm just going to pop a couple of solo ones in here. There we go. Sink them down a little bit just because they weren't that high to start with on the existing ones. And now we need to pop some trees in. So we need to try and get a spaced out set for this. Just to sort of match, because they weren't really clumped together. So with this one, go for something like that. There's quite a good gap between the lot. And then again, just dropping down a bit just so they're not too high up. and also just making sure they're not over hanging on the road there. So just rotate them a little bit and just bring them in a bit there. And then again we need another line of these, but I'm going to go for a different one. I'm trying to find one with a gap as well, so I'm going to bring them over there a little bit. Put these in there. I'm going to drop that down. Just make sure there's nothing overhanging the line there. I'm just going to rotate them a little bit more. Like so. Yeah, we've got some more bushes here as well, so we're going to get rid of these. So we'll go for these. And put them ones in there as well. So, we're not going to bother the grass just yet. We've got another row of flexes there, I'll get rid of them. I'm going to plonk a nice new set of them in. Just sink them a little bit. So, what I'm going to try and aim for is have a few more 3Ds sort of back here, and that's about it. So we'll go for another row of them here. Again with some bushes, so we'll put a row of them in. Just drop them down a bit. And go for the spaced out line that sort of covers that section up. Like so. Drop it down a bit. And then put a solar one in there. Just give it a little bit of a skew on there. Just to give it a little bit of a lean on it. I'll put some different ones in here. Another oak in there. We'll go for a elm on that one. But these 3Ds are going to go. We're going to go for some 2D bushes here because there's not as much need for them behind a hedge. So rather than putting too much detail in, we can save 7 assets on that. We can put a row of 1 in, which takes 1 asset rather than the 7. So it's all about as well sort of chopping out the asset count as well for that tile. Again, these are 7 per use and there's no need for it on a 2D. So we'll put the same length, but it's just 1 asset. Sink them down. Same again here. Sink that one down. Give a bit of rotation as well just to raise it on there. And it's good to go. So, same here as well. Get rid of that. I'll put that there. But I will put a 3D set in here. Just a little bit closer to the line. So we'll get rid of, we can say 14 assets. Put that in there. So we've put 2 back. Actually no, I will go for the 2D on this one, to be honest. Not so bad then, because otherwise we're going to take 14 up and put 7 back and add 2, so we're only saving 5. So I've spotted one thing which is going to get changed. Is that needs leveling out, like so. So the change what will happen here is we're going to keep the 3Ds but change them on that row, but everything behind it's going to go to 2D. So we'll save 7 and another 7 on that. Let's scroll back down to our lines of trees. We'll go for that one, which is virtually the length of the 2 together then. And just to fill the gap, we'll put a row of 2D hawthorns, which just fill the gap in nicely. We're going to get rid of these, and then we're going to go for the row of 2Ds. Because it's behind, we've got 3Ds for depth there, and anything behind it is hidden. There's no point putting tons and tons of stacks of these 3D rows in, because you're just going to eat your asset count on that tile. Wherever you can save, definitely do it. It's all about balance, if you will. If I knew at the time when I was doing Northern Lines how to do stuff that I do now, where I wasn't really paying attention to the asset count, I would have done this back then and saved on the asset count, because I feel like I could have managed it a lot better if I knew what I was doing back in the day. The route's that farthing now, it's just so hard to try and maintain it, but I've had a good go on the original Northern Lines, and I've actually saved on the 3D trees in places, which is a good thing. But the other issue is the amount of assets that I've placed, which is, it's just hard to get around other than ripping it all up and doing a lot of it again. I'm just going to smooth that out. It's better. A little bit. That's more like it. Right. So we've got a nice set of them 3Ds hidden there. And I'm not even going to replace them because, to be quite fair, there was nothing needed to be there in the first place. So we've got tons of them. Get rid of them. Get rid of them. So we've removed 3 assets there in that little line. We'll flatten them down to the ground, like so. And to replace the 3 I've removed, I'm just going to put 1 in. Again, it's all about saving your tile count. Even though I'm replacing stuff, I'm actually now only putting 1 in rather than another 3. And I've filled the same actual space up. So that's that. I'm not going to bother these just yet. I'm going to go back to this bit here. What we're going to do with this video, we're going to sort of focus on this little section. So I'm going to put another line of hawthorn in there, just for extra depth. I'm going to get rid of all this. I'm going to put hawthorns in again, even on the 2D. These give good depth. And they fill the area up nicely, so when you've got a load of 3D trees, and then there's no gap underneath because it's actually covered up nicely. You don't just see straight through. So I'm going to put a nice row of them in. Lower them a bit. And we'll put a shorter row of them in, if I find them. There we go. On there. We'll get rid of all these. So we'll get our row again. So we're going to put these on here. It slightly changes it a little bit, but it more or less fills the same gap. I'm just going to level that out, like so. I'm going to just put a couple of 2Ds in there. What we'll do is put some solo 3Ds in here to replace existing ones, but we'll sort of like move them around a little bit. Put a different one in there, and then we'll also put a maple there. We'll leave that one as it is, other than just lower it a little bit, just so they're all different heights. So we've done them, we've done all that. So we've got bushes here. I'm just going to get rid of the 3Ds and put the 2D ones in. If I can find them again. There they are. So we'll just cover that line up. Same again here. Just put a small row of them in. Just rotate them so they sit on the hill. So the good thing with them were they were flexi rows, so they actually hug the terrain. But where we're putting these in, we have to manually rotate them down to the hill. Just a little bit more time consuming, but at the end of the day, you're going to get better results on your FPS. And again, and you're saving all this count on the tile, so I'm virtually getting this under 1,000, hopefully, by the time we're finished. So at the minute it's like 1,023, so by the time we finish this, we'll see what we can get this tile to. So these are all 2D, which is good. We'll make this again 3D. But with the bushes, we're going to ring them right down. So we're at 1,010 now. I'm going to put the 2Ds in for this. Give them a bit of a rotation, just so we can get them to sit as close as possible. Then I'm just going to move them out a little bit there. I'll put a short one in here. And again, just give it a rotation and drop it down. So next up we have this row here. So we're going to put a row of these in here. Trying to go for the same ones all the time as well. That way it sort of, you get different gaps then. I'm going to put another row of these in there just to line it out. So we've worked up to this bit. This sort of line was already done because you can see where the terrain paint's been. There is some of these asset hoggers here. So again, we're on the same tile, working all the way up there. So we're going to get this well under the, was it 1010 up before? It should be. It's like 1010 again at the minute, but we will be losing some more hopefully in a minute, provided we don't go out the tile boundary. If we can get it under 1000, it's always good for an area like this. I think we are actually out the tile boundary because that didn't go down, so never mind. But there is some other 3Ds on that tile down there which we should be able to shift. So the other thing as well is just tidying up these hedges because they're floating. So we'll just click that, press L, and it just drops it down to the actual terrain height for that section. Put that there, click that, like so, and there. Another little bit there. So we'll just click and press L. It says it doesn't want to do it. Sometimes it doesn't. Do that now. There we go. So need to get rid of that. Do that and that. This tile's actually only 114, but it will be a lot less in a moment because we're going to get rid of all these 3Ds. So each one we remove, I'm going to replace it with the 2D line, just so it keeps the same sort of shape that it was in. Get rid of that one there. So we're under the 100 mark there, so it just shows how much you can claim back. Get rid of that. I mean, at the time when you put the 3D flexes in, it is easy, and it is a very quick process to do it, and it speeds the job up. But if you don't realise how many assets you're taking each time you click one of them, before you know it, your asset count is right through the roof. Which at the time when I placed them on northern lines, I had no idea that it was putting 7 per row at a time. It was only until I'd done it and sort of noticed down the line, so I thought, oops, not good, and I sort of regretted doing it. If I knew at the time, I'd rather have just spent that little bit longer doing it like this. But I'm rectifying the job now, at least in some form of shape and way. So we have that up there, that's done. So we've done another section, sort of line if you will. Get rid of them. What we'll do in a minute is we'll swap and do a little bit of grass work on the area. So what we'll do is we'll probably do this section up to the bridge on this curve back to the station, and I'll just show you what I do for that bit. As I say, we're not going to drag it out this video because no one wants to sit and watch an hour's worth of root building. It's just mainly a case of just to update you guys on how we are doing, and that we haven't stopped working on stuff. Even though we might have stopped working on one project, we're always working on something. As well, Mark's got an exciting little project coming up soon, so do keep an eye out on the YouTube channel. That's meant to be starting very soon. I'm not going to go into the details, but hopefully it will be something that you'll enjoy. And it does sound really good. I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do as well. Right, so I'm going to get rid of all these because we do not need any 3Ds here. We're getting away from the track now, so I don't want to put that, that's too much, but we'll just dot a mixture of these in there. I've got to go all the way down there, you see, so I'm not going to do all that today because it's just too much to do in a video. Get rid of that. So, next little job what we do is we're going to leave the trees now, so you get a bit of an idea of what we do. I will come back to that very soon and continue it. And hopefully for Developer Diaries 4 that we'll have all this section done, at least up to Foxfield. Fingers crossed. So, what we do with the grass. First of all, we rip up the existing line side foliage. And we redo it all. So, I'll make sure we haven't left anything. Let's go back the other way. Looks dead there when you get rid of all this. It won't be for long. So we've got a small section that we need to redo. So VP grass, if you're not familiar with it, is in its own form is little sections of grass. To do that would just be silly. So what we do with this is get rid of that first of all. We use it within the irregular asset block tool. So we map it out where we want to place it. So we're just going to lay it in a short section. It's not going to go in all one big section because it glitches out and it starts disappearing sometimes at certain angles. So we do it in little sections. We double click, and the one I use is, if I can remember which one it is, in this one. Thing I have to remember is I use it within JT as well, and the naming convention is different. So when I come back to do it on the VP one, it's all in a different order. I actually forget which one I use. The VP2. No, it's this one. Right, so VP medium. 2. So we vary it up, and I put an extra 2 noughts on there, and I get that. Mix it up like so, to give it a bit of randomization. You get 2 different colours in there. So we just do this all the way. Just lay it out. A little bit of a lengthy job, but once it's done, it looks all good. And again, just doing the same. Sometimes you can copy and paste it, but because we're on a curve, I'll do it like this. If you're on a straight section, I would copy and paste a lot of it. Just it speeds it up a little bit more. But when you're on a curve, I like to try and keep it so it keeps the actual radius. Sometimes if you do copy and paste, you have to then tweak it just to get it on the right curve radius again. Go with this a little bit here, and then we go around there and just run it around and run it through there. It's all about getting the mix on the colour as well. Once you're happy with what you use, I always I love using the setting I have. Everyone has their own preference, but I like to try and keep it the same kind of colours, even though there's two little shade difference in there, which you can see. And as well, you can make it change more one than the other. But if you pop it in the middle, you get the even balance throughout, and then just randomise them up so it doesn't look too the same. Move that a little more. There we go. Otherwise, it can look too linear and too much the same. I mean, at the minute it does look too much the same, but once we start adding in the additional DTG stuff, you get a good mix on top of this. When we first used this grass, myself and Mark, we sort of like had it. We didn't really know what we were doing, but we've learned how to use it better over time. I know a lot of people are a bit here and there with this. Some people like it, some people don't. It's down to personal preference at the end of the day. Some people like pure DTG stuff on their routes. Others like a bit of each. I like a bit of each. Layered properly, it does look good. It's just all about knowing what you're doing with it. Once you get that right value, I find helps as well. I mean, if you look at the state of that when you put too many zeros on it, it's killing the FPS now. Knock a note off. Not so bad now, look. Knock another off. It's even better. How I have it, it's nice and smooth. So it's all about knowing what value to put in there. The more you put in, the more laggy it gets. I'm going to put that there. So we're nearly there. I'm going to get rid of that. And just like so, put that to about there and there. Right, so I can't help but feel like there was meant to be another tree there. I'm going to place a maple in. Trying to double check that on Google Earth. I feel like there was more trees. Yep, there was. That's the one. Right, so we just need to go back in the other direction now before we do the next stage. That's floating, which shouldn't be, but the issue is it's doing that. I'll leave it as this for now. I'll try and find something to place underneath it, or actually, if I rotate it might be a bit better. That might do it. Jobs are good and move it a little bit. So there's enough room for the wheels to go through that. There we go. I should see the wires now. Well, they're poking through the sleeper there, which wouldn't happen. So we're just going to move it back a little bit there, so it goes through the stones on the ballast. Let's put some more of this grass in. So when I have stuff like this, I sort of like trying to move it around it, like that. Also, I like to have stuff like that as well, just to give it a little bit more sense of like it's a used railway, not too tidy. Not all signposts get tilted, but I like to do an odd one here and there. You just got to remember not to go too far with each block, because otherwise sometimes when you turn around with the camera they disappear at certain angles and you have to redo it all, but then redo them a bit smaller just so they don't glitch. Like you see at the minute, it's not doing any disappearing, which is good. So we're already pushing into the 44th minute on this video. It's a lot longer than what I wanted it to actually be. So you're getting a lot more viewing time on this if you're still with us. If you've stuck it out all the way through, thank you very much and I hope you've enjoyed. We won't take much more of your time though. We're going to go on to the last bit in a moment. But again, we will be doing some more Cumbrian Coast building on the stream coming up very soon. I will obviously post up the plans and stuff on the YouTube community section so everyone gets the notification come through on that. If you have actually come to our streams through YouTube, massive thanks to everyone. That we've noticed the numbers have gone up quite a lot recently in terms of viewing in Twitch, which is always nice to see. Still trying to get Mark to do his stream on here at some point. He's just had a new PC delivered, so he's just getting back up and running. Even though there has been a bit of a gap in the videos, we actually do have stuff waiting to be released. It's just what we're waiting for the actual content to be released. One of them is for a payware route that's coming out very soon. Mark's done the video for that. It's uploaded. It's just waiting to go live once the actual product goes live. So it's one that hopefully it'll be entertaining to certain aspects of railway fans. So keep your eye out on that one. Just gonna smooth that out a bit more. There we go. So it's not so jagged. So I'm gonna put that. No, I'm not. That's wrong. We'll do that. That's what we don't do. Randomize it up, and there we go. I'm just gonna bring that one down as well. Right, so just drop the save on there so don't lose anything, just in case anything happens. So we're going to do the next stage, which is just dotting various TSA line side foliage in. So there's no specific order on this, I just randomise it, put different bits in. So as we say, we're just layering it in. Different ones, different effects. Then when you look back, you have quite a bit of difference in colour then. I'll drop them a bit. Just about getting a good balance in mixture. It's definitely a quicker process than putting the actual grass down, the base grass. It's quite a quick job doing this, really, once you get going. You don't really need to think about what you're going to put in, just randomise it up. That way it's not all the same. We'll just put a cluster in here as well. And that is one side done. And again, just going back the other way now. And then we will wrap the video right up. As that is what we intended to do for this video. We've shown you what we've been doing. We've shown you the process of what we've been doing. And you get to see as well. And if you have any questions regarding the route, please do pop them in the comment section below. We'd love to hear from you about it. We'd love to see comments from people obviously that are from the area, and the comments that they leave behind as well are really encouraging, especially when they actually recognise the area, which is what we are setting out to do. As again, it's an area that's not ever been covered in TS properly. There has been a freeware version of some of the Cumbrian coast, which is very good. And there's a gap fill. Go and have a look at that. It's the Furnace I think it's the Furnace Peninsula, something like that. Furnace Railway or something like that. It's an extension to West Coast Overshap. Really good. I think there's a little gap in scenery between I think like Ulverston sort of area up to Barrow, but other than that, the scenery is literally all in. And that's going to focus. That's focusing on an area that we're not actually going to be doing straight away, and that is the simple reason why we're not doing it at the minute, because it has been sort of focused on. So rather than us doing something that's already out there, we're going to do the part that isn't done on our version, and eventually we will go back and do the proper. We'll do the actual job then back down to Preston from Barrow. Hopefully one day, if we ever get there. Right, so we want one of them. Some flowers in there as well. Right. So I'm happy with what we've done there. So when we go into play mode, we'll probably get a noisy road for a start. Oh no, we're right, we're not in any traffic. So we sit here and we can see the difference in what we have. So I'm gonna possible screenshot there, but I might actually go and put a loco in or a unit or something first of all before we do a thumbnail like that. But that is what we get with a bit of extra time and a bit of extra care, swapping stuff over. You get views like that. So what we'll be doing, obviously off camera, off video, we're going to end up getting rid of all the stripping back and all that and everything over there, and we're going to work our way to Foxfield, which is just sort of where that 142 is, just behind them trees there. That is where our next section and milestone will be. Not a massive distance, so hopefully within the next month we'll have this done, and maybe some more extra. I'd like to be further for our next video. Massive thanks to everyone that's joined us, and a massive thanks to everyone that's been and watched this video as well for your feedback so far on the Cumbrian coastline. It's massively appreciated, and we are massively thrilled for everyone that's looking forward to this route as well, which it gives us hope and keeps us going. Thank you very much. Don't forget you can like, share, subscribe, leave us some feedback, anything you want to see on future videos, do let us know, and hopefully the next video won't be such a big gap. It's been crazy busy. I hope you can understand that. Obviously we haven't got going on in the world. Don't forget you can follow us on Twitch at twitch.tv/TrainSimTV_Tom and also TrainSimTV_Mark. New dates now, we do Tuesdays and Saturdays on TrainSimTV_Tom. So I hope you can join us for them. We usually start now at 8 o'clock and just go into the evening with various bits and pieces. So, I've been Tom, this has been the Cumbrian Coastline, Developer Diary number 3. We will hopefully see you on the 4th one in about a month's time, and obviously our other videos in between then and now. Take care, stay safe guys, and we will see you on the next one. Bye for now.